Hey everybody, CashBaggins here, and welcome back to the VAR review. I think a lot of people are wondering whether or not they should buy Rematch, either at all or the better editions for early access. I'll give you a simple answer. The game is fun. The game needs polish. The devs have decided to do a full launch of this game, but have communicated that the game is launching unfinished and they will be committed to regular updates. While there's still a lot of polishing to do, personally, I think the game is fun enough now to warrant a purchase. Watch my patch note review series to better understand what the direction of the game is, and if or when you want to buy it. I love you. In our last video, we looked at the promises made for launch, and our verdict was clear. Promising, but watch list heavy. The launch patch notes are here, and we're going to see exactly which of those checks cleared, which are still pending, and what new promises have been made. Onwards to the scoreboard. Here's the quick summary of this crucial launch patch. Player positives. Promises kept. All 5 of our pitch side promises for launch, including mouse and keyboard remapping and critical desync fixes, have been delivered. Direct feedback response. The notes explicitly credit player feedback for the popular rainbow flick reversion. Gamepad remap update. A post-launch promise has been updated to a later this season commitment. A positive sign. Concerns and watch list. 1. Polish. The known issues list remains very long. While transparency is good, the sheer volume of polish-related bugs is a concern at launch. 2. Stability. The delete app data fix is still listed as a recommended fix. This is an unacceptable workaround for a live product and needs to be a top priority to patch out. 3. VAG timelines continue. Later this season is better than post-launch, but it's still anywhere in a 90-day window, so we have to monitor. The meta shaker. The rainbow flick reversion remains the biggest meta shaker, just as we predicted. It restores a key piece of the offensive toolkit and shows a willingness to walk back changes that don't land well or align with their vision. Ledger verdict. Core promises kept. Polish is just beginning. Alright, let's get into the detailed breakdown. We're organizing this with the commitment tracker. In the net, live now. These are the changes confirmed live, and this is the section full of promises kept. First, the rainbow flick. The notes explicitly state, in response to the feedback gathered during the second beta, we reverted to modifications we made on the rainbow flick. What is this change? The initial flick is fast and fluid again. We had this on our ledger as rainbow reactivity with launch day target. It is delivered. Why? Sloclap directly credits player feedback. The beta 2 version was clunky and unpopular, and they listened. What's the impact? A major offensive tool is back. This is a huge win for accountability and shows the devs are responsive. What do you all think? Was this the right call? Next, mouse and keyboard improvements. We had 2 items on our pitch side list. Mouse and keyboard aiming change and mouse and keyboard remapping. Both were targeted for launch. What is this change? The tap aiming system has been improved and full key remapping is now available. Both promises are delivered. Why do it? These were baseline features required for the PC community. The aiming system needed refinement and remapping is a non-negotiable standard. Impact of this change. The game is now significantly more accessible and comfortable for mouse and keyboard players. A massive and necessary step forward. Bonus info. I've tried out the mouse and keyboard aiming. I think it does feel a lot better than it was in the open beta. And finally, stability in netcode. Our ledger included client crash fixes and goalkeeper desync fix. What? The notes list fixes for multiple crash instances and crucially for the ball passing through the goalkeeper's dive. Both promises are delivered. Why? Game stability and reliable netcode are the bedrock of competitive play. These were the most critical technical checks the dev had to cash. Impact, a more stable client, and a more trustworthy online experience. This is the foundation they need to build upon. Bonus. Sad bonus. They did fix these things, but it's a little bit of whack-a-mole. There's definitely some new bugs going around. For example, after having my team scored on, I've had a player on the opposing team start with the ball instead of it being our kickoff. Still fun though. The bug squash. They fixed all sorts of menuing and appearance bugs too. Pitch side. This is where we track new and updated promises for the near future. The big news here is controller remapping. Previously, we had this on our scouting report as a post-launch item. What happened? Sloclap has now committed to delivering controller remapping later this season. For context, in-game, the season is listed as lasting about 90 days or 3 months. Impact. This is a positive development, I guess. The promise has been upgraded from a vague someday to a more concrete, though still loose timeline. This is progress. We'll be tracking this closely, as I'd imagine this is the #1 most requested feature for a huge portion of the player base. If you want to be here when we check in on the delivery of controller remapping, make sure you're subscribed. It's the best way to support this kind of long-term tracking. Also, newly mentioned was advanced remapping options being planned for later this season. You should also expect ongoing updates to mouse and keyboard tap system improvements in the quote next updates. That's it for pitch side. Onward to the scouting report. This is our long-term watch list. Items from the old ledger that haven't been addressed and new concerns. The biggest item here is the official known issues list. What is it? A long list of bugs including floating balls, misplaced cameras, stuttering replays, and audio bugs. What's its impact? While it's good to see the transparency, this list shows that the game's polish is still a major work in progress. It's the watch list heavy part of our previous verdict made manifest. Sloclap did ask us to understand the game won't be finished at launch, and told us they'd be working hard to make frequent updates. Another item here is the delete app data fix. This isn't something you'd expect from a launched game. Hopefully it's resolved quickly. The other items from our previous scouting report, like WASDA aiming and dive or hinder improvements, remain on the list with no new updates. And that brings us to the updated accountability ledger. Let's see the tail of the tape. And there you have it. At the top, we got the 5 delivered promises, all complete, all previously promised. They did what they said they were gonna do. Then beneath that, you got the colored targets. Those were updates or changes to previously mentioned features. And then at the bottom, we have those 4 things that basically just remain the same from the scouting report. I'll pop the old one on the left and the new one on the right. You can take a look at that, but let's wrap up. So what's the final analysis? Sloclap delivered on every single one of their core pitch side promises for launch. That is a massive win and builds a lot of trust. However, the game is still carrying a heavy backpack full of bugs and polish issues they've acknowledged in their known issues list. They've cashed the big checks, and now they have to get to work picking up dimes or something. My final question to you all is this: which item on the known issues or scouting report list do you believe needs to be their absolute #1 priority for the next patch? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the pitch.